We are officially live, broadcasting only on onedealaway.com/live. My name is Nev, this is Money Matters, and today we are talking crypto. That's right, we are going to be discussing a little bit of crypto, what's going on there. I mean, it is a weekend. We had a lovely chat yesterday learning about NFTs over on a Facebook page. So just discussing of what it is, how to use it, where to get like free ether, test ether only. Sorry, there's no real money for free. I mean, the governments tell you that they can deliver, but at the end of the day, we all know, hey, we'll all pay for that sooner or later, right? So no big secret that this is going to happen. But what are we going to discuss today? Well, we're going to, of course, look at the market and what's going on in the marketplace. But there is a new thing that is being proposed that is going to affect a lot of us. And it's going to affect a lot of crypto exchanges and banks as well. Yes, regulations are coming and they are coming to stay. And sorry, I'm looking over here because my thing has crashed. I'm like, oh, what's going on? But they're coming in to stay, and they're reducing some of the rules and regulations. Well, they're increasing them. They're just reducing the amount of money that they have to report. So what does that actually mean? Higher cost of doing business. That's exactly what it means. Hey, welcome to the world where, we like to charge more for basically not much of anything. So we'll be taking a look into that stuff. We'll talk about what's going on with Bitcoin. Where are we right now? Where do I think things might go? Or not go for that matter. And we're going to look at some of the stable coins, inflation around the world. So we do have quite a bit of information to discuss. And of course, as you know, China has actually released the CBDC into the world. They're still testing it, right, with a small group of people, but it is live. It is happening. And we got feedback. We have feedback now of what people think about the whole thing. So if you want to learn about crypto, about what's going on, where we are, all these news, laws, regulations, and things, you definitely want to stay tuned in for that. Before we go into the super fun, amazing movie of the year, thank you very much. I am expecting a Grammy, an Oscar. I don't know. Which one do you get for what? For it to arrive very, very shortly. All kidding aside, hey, I do want to welcome everybody watching this live on onedealaway.com. And if you are here, sign in, say hello. We're going to do Q&A at the end of the show as always. And if you're watching this on YouTube or somewhere else for that matter, or listening to it, you're not even watching, you're just listening, hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you very much. Do subscribe if there's such a thing to do. Do hit alert button if there's such a thing to do. Do smash the like button if there's such a thing to do, and make sure you forward it and tell others about it. Hey, let's do this. And good morning, happy Saturday to you. All right, let's not mess around. Let's go into the markets, straight into the markets, and take a look at what's going on in the money world, my favorite world in the world. Well, it's not the favorite. I have other favorite worlds as well. But as you can see, here we go in the top 100. When I scroll down, you can see some green, some red, overall interesting market nonetheless. And what we can see is that we are seeing that Bitcoin is just slightly up. Not much is happening over the 24 hours. On the 7 days, it's up 14.7%, which is a really, really nice move. And right now we're sitting at $12,982.14. And ETH has climbed over 400. It's been sitting above 400 for a few days, which is always exciting, sitting at $413.82 as we speak, and has pumped 13.1% over the last 7 days. USDT is, well, Tether is Tether, as they say. XRP is at 25 cents. BCH is at 273. Link is at 1245, which has pumped really nicely of 17.5% over the last 7 days. Litecoin has done a really nice job pumping of 21.8%. Let's take a look at what's going on in the markets over the last 24 hours. Ocean is up 25.8%, followed by EGLD at 20.9. Theta up 6.7. Wi-Fi, Y whatever, YFI is up 5.1, LTC 4.7, and then it kind of goes down into the lower numbers. When it comes to the losing side of the game, there's nothing huge that is happening. Of course, we do have some that have gone down. LRC down 4.7%, Waves down 4.3, OMG down 3.7, Nano down 3.6. As you can see, it's the highest one. It's not even 5%. In the 7-day period, RSR has pumped ridiculously at 52.6%, and that's because many people believe with the whole PayPal thing going on that RSR might have something to do with it and they can make a lot of money. So as you can see, it's pumped really well over the past 7 days. Over the 24 hours, it's down 2.7, so it's not bad. EGLD is up 32.9% in 7 days. Ocean up 26.8% in 7 days. Quant up 26.5, Ample up 24.7. As you can see, we do have some really big moves in a 7-day period. When it comes to the downside, over the 7-day period, FIL, FIL, which is a Filecoin, is down 48.1%, so it's lost quite a bit. CRO down 24.9%, down to 10 cents. I remember when it was 17 cents. OKB 13.2, DGB 10.2, Balancer down 7.9, and then it goes down into the single digits. As you can see, overall pretty good market, but again, it also depends what you're holding, what's in your portfolio, and above all, the biggest thing that also matters is when you bought. Because even when we talk about the fact that, like, hey, Bitcoin is up 14.7% in the 7 days, that's only if you bought 7 days ago to the moment that we're looking at right now. If you had bought at the beginning of 2020 or in March, you are up substantially, because remember, in March we were at 3,000 something, let's call it 4,000, and right now we're just shy of $13,000. Well, that basically means that you're up about $9,000. That is an amazing run. That's 3x, almost 3x, right? So that's a pretty cool run for those that have purchased then, right? So it doesn't, it just kind of matters of like when you purchased it. If you purchased back in like December or January, early January of December 2017, early January 2018, you might have bought it at like 19,000 something, right? That $20,000 piece. You are still down. You are still down substantially. So you better hodl until that puppy goes well above it, and then you will be in the positive. And then, of course, those that have gotten into it when it was like a penny or 10 cents or a dollar, well, those folks are clearly doing incredibly well. And we do have some whales from that are holding and doing some fun stuff. I do actually have an article to share with you that I have found. All right, so we did mention at the beginning of the show that there's a big change coming for next year called the travel rule. Well, what the hey is a travel rule, and why does it matter to us? Well, let's take a look. So, digital currency companies, otherwise known as virtual asset service providers, VASPs, very cute name, in the eyes of the global regulators, are concerned about regulations and compliance this year. Over 150 crypto executives said regulation is the top concern. I do agree that regulation and, of course, people's safety and security should be the top concern. The travel rule is a descriptive label for the Bank Secrecy Act, rule of 31 CFR 103.33G. Basically, the rule mandates that all companies that deal with finances have to pass a transmission data like KYC AML to the next financial institution. Now, KYC is Know Your Customer. AML is Anti-Money Laundering, and it basically means registering of users and knowing who is the user. Now, the fund transfer rules are designed to help the law enforcement agencies detect, investigate, and prosecute money laundering and other financial crimes. So then you have the Financial Action Task Force, FATF. It's only the governments and the higher education, which a lot of it comes from the governments, that have all of these like acronyms and like things. I'm like, oh my gosh, just say what it is, for crying out loud. But anyways, they published the FATF FATF plenary on June 30th, 2020, and the document shows that the cryptocurrency business would get a 12-month extension in order to become compliant with the travel rule. Now, the regulated landscape is constantly changing and still evolving, and so there is a United States travel rule working group that basically has come up with the travel rule solution version 1 for all of these crypto companies to basically do their best to comply with it. So there's a lot of guidance and stuff that needs to happen. And so, like, how do you do it and do it in a way that it makes sense, that you capture things? Because many of the exchanges, when they have started, they started without any of these rules, and now they're having to play a bit of a catch up, right? And of course, for the new companies that are rolling out, like, I know for us, because we're looking to get into the space and working on it and that kind of stuff, like, a lot of research has gone into how the hey do we comply with all of this stuff. What are all the things that we have to do in order to comply with the whole thing? And as you can see, there's like a lot of information that they have shared over here that I'm not going to go into right now, because we have another article that is going to explain a bit more in depth of what's going on, what the changes are. So you've likely heard of the FinCEN, which is Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, and Federal Reserve are looking to get more information on smaller crypto transactions than ever before. Now, the FinCEN, you likely have heard of that name because they recently, in the last month, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, days are running together, y'all. Sorry. But they have released a report of the big banks, the biggest of the banks that are involved in this giant money laundering, shocker, and supporting criminals, shocker, and supporting all these like bad players in the world that are using them to basically move the money, to launder their money, to finance some horrible acts that are happening around the world, and so on. So that's where likely you have heard of it. And if you haven't seen that video, if you go to the YouTube channel, right, Money Matters, then you're actually going to go into the Money Matters show and you'll be able to find it right over there. This is the reason why I'm saying you definitely want to subscribe. You definitely want to show up every morning. And if you can't, at least subscribe, get that bell thing going on the YouTube so that you're getting all of these things, getting all of the episodes and information that is coming. According to a notice of proposed rulemaking published on Friday, so yesterday, the U.S. agencies want to lower the $3,000 threshold published in 1995 to $250 for international transactions, meaning that financial institutions would need to exchange client information alongside all crypto transactions greater than $250 that begin or end outside the United States. FATF, right, we just talked about it, proposed travel rule, as it's known, would apply to relatively small amounts of money when it changes hands. Now, over here, it's focusing specifically on crypto transactions, but this also plays the rule for regular banking sector. I don't think that this is crypto only. I think this is regular banking as well. I haven't looked at the notice. I haven't looked at the proposal, but I will definitely take a look into it for my own personal want and need. And look who decided to join us. Charles. Yes, Charlie decided to come and join us for the show today. So he's been a very, very good boy. Over the last few months, we've been hanging out quite a bit, and so this is the first time in a long time that he decided to join the show. I think he likes it only when it gets cold, because I think my lap is nice and warm, so he likes to come and sit. So this is exciting piece right now. So if you hear a random meow or you see a random tail, you know what it is. It's Kitty. It's the kitty that decided to come and play. So we're the piece that I think is very, very important to understand and acknowledge is that there is a high probability that this is going to come into the regular banking sector as well, causing them to have to do even more regulations, which means that the cost of doing business is going to go up. Welcome to 2021. So the information under the travel rule would be the name and address of the originator or transmitter, right? The one person sending the money, the amount of money that is being sent, and of course, the date. Additionally, any payment instructions received from the originator with the payment or transmittal order and the beneficiary's bank or recipient financial institution and entity. So they will want to know everything, right? Like, who am I? What is my address? What am I sending? How much, right? Like, how much am I sending? When did I send it? Who did it go to? Who is holding on to it? So it's a lot of information that is going to have to be held. A Financial Action Task Force, the FATF, is working to apply similar rule across countries. Mandate to collect and exchange customer information seems diametrically opposed to the peer-to-peer electronic cash system that the white paper for Bitcoin presented. For now, the update to the travel rule remains just a proposal, and FinCEN and the Fed are inviting public comments from all concerned over the next 30 days. So if you are concerned, if you do have opinion, I guess they're asking for it. Will they implement or listen? Who the hey knows? But at least, they're play pretending that they do care how you feel about the whole thing. So there you go. That's another thing that you can go in and hear all of those. I mean, it's very interesting, paying attention to kind of what's going on right now. Because today is October 24th, right? So we are a few days away from the U.S. elections, and all of the mainstream media is focusing on the election and what Trump did, said, ate, whatever, and what Biden did, said, ate, or whatever. And that's where all of the stuff is going on. They're not talking about some of the major changes like the privacy rules, like the fact that IMF is calling for the revamp of the financial system as we know it, which is going to change everything about our financial world. And I believe that change is going to be digital, right? And I don't think gold, as much as they are tuning to be, is going to be the part of that thing. I think it's going to be world digital currency. I could be wrong, but that's kind of where I see the whole thing going. Now, talking about the whales and a lot of money and all of that stuff, there's an interesting thing that we just saw over here, and that's one of the richest Bitcoin investors alive just transferred $175 million in BTC, in Bitcoin, as Ethereum and XRP whales move millions in crypto as well. One of the richest Bitcoin investors in history is suddenly moving to their crypto fortune. An anonymous whale just transferred 13,242 BTC worth $175.1 million for a fee of only 84 cents. This is huge. This is absolutely huge. The fact that you can move that amount of money for that small of a fee is redunculous, as they say, right? Because you wouldn't be able to do it with traditional finance. The way that it's set up right now, you couldn't do it for that cheap, and you definitely couldn't do it that fast. And guess what? It would absolutely 100% trigger the AML, KYC, red flags everywhere of, FinCEN, Fed, and everybody else kind of investigating to see why do you have this money? Why are you transferring this kind of money? Where's this money going? What are you going to do with this money? How did you get to it? Who are you? I need a blood test sample, like all of that stuff. This is the crazy part that happens in crypto and crypto only. Now, of course, this is going to change, and it's going to, shift around as we get new rules and regulations and stuff. But I think it's a very interesting piece to understand. Like, imagine you move all this money and it only costs you 84 cents. That is crazy. Now, the whale moved the coins to 3 separate addresses, is what they're saying. An unknown wallet with a total of 4 transactions received 13,242 BTC. Second wallet of unknown origin got 300 BTC. And the third wallet involved received less than 1 BTC. BitInfo charts reveals that the whale created the original wallet on October 22nd and immediately became the 51st richest wallet in existence. In addition, Whale Alert spotted a number of large BTC transactions that occurred as Bitcoin tried to breach $13,000. And now they're listing a bunch of different, coins that have been created. And what they're basically saying that in addition, when you include the giant transaction above, it totaled to 25,998 BTC, which is worth $339.7 million. That's a lot of money that is being moved. And of course, you can always just look at the sites that like where it was transferred and where it's going, and you can see the interesting piece that I noticed looking at this stuff, like from Bitstamp to Coinbase, Binance to wallet of unknown origin, wallet to origin to to Zappo, wallet to Bitstamp, Binance to unknown origin, from wallet to Coinbase, Coinbase to wallet. Like, so people are definitely moving a lot of money, and it was interesting that some of these that what I can see and think that if they went from a wallet to a place like Coinbase or Binance or something like that, they probably were looking to go in and trade, right? To potentially sell. If you have purchased something at like a penny, why wouldn't you sell it at 13,000? Why not take a nice little payday, and go on vacation for a few days or a few months or a few years? I don't know. Those that have gone from Binance or Coinbase to a wallet of unknown origin, because all of the wallets are unknown origin, right? They probably were saying, I'm done trading. I bought what I needed to do. I'm getting out. I'm going to sit and wait for this puppy to ride and then potentially, move money in. So it'll be kind of cool to take all of these things and see where the most of the money has gone in, from wallets into the exchanges or exchanges into the wallets. Because if it goes from wallets into the exchanges, we could potentially see a bit more of a dump thing happening. If they're going from exchanges predominantly into the wallets, people are going to hodl, which means the price is going to stay pretty much static or potentially even go up. We don't know that. That is an interesting piece. Something that I'm sure that somebody out there is doing, but that's something that I will take a look a little bit later on just because I am personally curious. We've also seen Ethereum whales also being extremely active. While Whale Alert reported 5 transactions amounting to 398,124 ETH, worth 164.8 million over the same time stretch. And again, you can see from wallet to wallet, from wallet to wallet, from wallet to wallet. This is not exchanges. This is basically wallet to wallet. There's two exchanges that are being pointed out here. Binance to wallet, meaning they're not selling, they're not trading, they're just going to hodl. And then the one that is basically out of all of that stuff, there's basically the 34.6 million that was transferred from wallet to Uniswap. So they likely will use to trade it or potentially just provide liquidity so that they can get some yield out of the whole thing. That's kind of an interesting piece. And of course, speaking of ETH and Uniswap and DeFi and that stuff, we do have news of what's going on with the DeFi world, with the DEXs, which is decentralized exchanges and so on. So let's take a look at what's going on. Volumes on Ethereum-based decentralized exchanges have fallen off a cliff this month. Trading volume is down 41% in the past 30 days, and they're also saying a decrease of more than 62% since the late summer peak. So that it's definitely slowed down of what's going on. But there's an interesting piece that is happening. DEX boomed in popularity amidst as year's decentralized finance boom. Starting about the end of June, people invested billions of dollars into DeFi, lending protocols and exchanges to take advantage of high incentives they offer to users, sometimes upward of 1,000% yields. Now, of course, if you know anything about money or incentives or any of that stuff, you know that these insane things cannot last. Just like prices don't always go up, you can also understand that you can't keep providing 1,000% yields for forever. Sooner or later, we all knew the music would stop and that would be the end. Well, the music is stopping. The boom wasn't to last, and to keep the magic going, protocols offered more and more and more and more incentives. And here's the problem. People didn't stick around to the protocols once they ran out of the incentives. So they would go in and they would compete and they would say, hey, people that are over there, you come over here and I'm going to give you, 40%, extra. And then the next protocol would come and be like, hey, forget Nev stuff, we're giving you 50. And next one goes 60. And of course they were competing. And then people, what were they doing? They were like, hey, forget this one, I'm going to go make money here, I'm going to go make money over there. And so we've seen a lot of things that have come down since then. And one of the interesting pieces, I think we can probably take a look at, let me take a look. If we go to CoinGecko, let's go to CoinGecko, y'all. Right? And if we take a look at think, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about that. I'm not quite sure what happened. I'm not quite sure what happened. Well, I know what happened. I clicked on some sort of something without realizing I clicked on some sort of something. But you can see it right over here when it kind of came out that it went up and then now it's coming down and tapering off. But one of the things that I also wanted to point out about this chart that I was like, I don't know that I want to buy this because I expect this puppy to go well below the $790. Well, maybe not. We'll see how it rolls out. But this is known as shoulder head shoulder pattern. Look how beautiful that is, and you can see it right over here. Right? Let me you know how I like to geek out and to doodle, right? So you see shoulder, head, shoulder, right? Somebody else will say that it looks like something else, but I didn't say it. I didn't say it. So what typically happens when you see that is that often, not always, but often, when you see this sort of this pattern of uh, hold on, sorry, when you see this pattern of I don't know why it's not drawing right now. Come on, come on, you can do it. See, it doesn't want to play right now. Okay, clearly you're not liking me right now. All right, never mind. Typically when you see it, that does this sort of like, up, down, up, higher, down, the same level, up to the previous level, and then it goes down. Typically it goes back down to the same increase percentage that it went up. It actually goes down through that component as well. So that's something that I think it's very interesting for folks to know if you are curious about how that all works. Okay, let's go back and talk about the stuff. So, of course, people didn't stick around. Even trading volumes or decentralized exchange Uniswap has dropped. Daily trading volumes peaked for Uniswap at just shy of $1 billion on September 1st to 234 million yesterday. So that's a big drop. That's a huge drop, right? Like, I mean, that's what, like 75% plus minus. This is crazy. One of the major reasons is that people are not earning as much yield right now just because the crazy yields are not sustainable and often comes with significant risks. The market is now returning to a more rational level and yields are being will be adjusted according to reflect the market consolidation in a healthy way. Uniswap liquidity, however, the amount of money that users have staked on the platform to facilitate token swaps and earn fees, has increased from about 1 billion in the middle of September to about 3 billion today. This is really, really important. So what we're seeing is that people are still willing and interested to learn, to learn as well, but to also earn money through these swaps and exchanges and staking and that kind of stuff. What we're seeing is that this crazy yield farming and that kind of stuff that we've seen before is the part that is going away, or at least going away for right now. It's probably going to emerge into some sort of different level of things. But I think the cool part about the DeFi and what was going on is that it also was giving us a view into what is possible, a view into what finance could look like, in a new world. And so, of course, I knew it would never hold up, but it also gives us sort of a point of what we think could potentially happen. It's not going to look exactly the same, but it is going to be very, very interesting. As I don't remember who said it, maybe Twain. That's who they said did it, right? Like history doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. So I think we're going to see a rhyme of DeFi come in the future. Now, is that going to be tomorrow, or in 2021, or in 2030? I don't know, but I do think it's going to come. Amount of money invested in DeFi smart contracts is also on the rise, and it's about 12.3 billion dollars. That is crazy. That is crazy amount of money. DeFi participants are still earning reasonably higher yields than the traditional markets, with many yield farming projects currently yielding around 15 to 30% APY. This is a very, very, very good yield, right? Like it's not 1,000% like we saw before, which wasn't sustainable, but now we're looking at 15 to 30%, which I think is very, very possible, right? And it still beats the traditional saving market, right? If I was to put my US dollar, for example, into a bank right now, a traditional bank, whatever bank you want to pick, I would get what? 0.01% APY, maybe. If I lock it up in a CD for 3 to 5 years, I might get like 0.1% as opposed to 0.01%. So like it's almost like you're being punished to save. And that's kind of what we're seeing, which is crazy component of the whole thing. And then you enter the world of crypto, where you're getting 15 to 30% in these things. Or if you're staking, you can even do it with the dollar stablecoin. You can basically get 10%, 15%. Which is really, really good return on your money, in my humble opinion. You're not going to get rich off of $100 at 8%, but it's definitely better than anything else, and it's still a dollar. So anyways, speaking of all of the crazy stuff and percentages, that brings me to this article that I have seen, and it deals with inflation. And here are a few countries that have a ridiculously high inflation, and there's something actually really, really funny about this whole thing that I will point out to you in a moment. So stay tuned for that. Inflation is a very real problem. I agree. Venezuela remains the inflation king and is super rough financial shape, and it's been for a very, very long time. And the rate is now finally has dropped from 2,177% to 1,813% in recent months. Obviously, the improvement, however, it's still really, really rough. I mean, imagine, your money losing 1,813% per year. That is absolutely crazy, absolutely crazy. Zimbabwe, also known, very well known, and it's gone down as well from 761% to 659%. Sudan is still plagued by inflation. Current inflation rate is that of 167%, and the inflation is actually rising as opposed to falling. So something to be really well known about, or to keep in mind. Lebanon is on the rise. It's a home of an increasing late inflation. Current inflation rate is 120%, and the previous one was 112%. And of course, there's something that is going to be happening and developing. We've seen some of the rises and problems and that kind of stuff happening with Lebanon, and so I think it's very interesting piece to kind of keep on watching and monitoring in that country as well. Suriname, this is where it gets kind of interesting. Current rate of inflation is 40%, clearly way less than anything else, but it is up from 38.2, and it is growing. It looks like it's going to be growing. Now, here is the part that is very, very interesting. Okay, I didn't read it. That is, so where are these places? Because they were like, yeah, you couldn't even find this stuff. So where are these places located? So Suriname is located in South America, in Latin America. Here is Venezuela as well. So two of the countries are located in Latin America, and then the rest of them are going to be located in basically Africa and in the Middle East. So Sudan is right over here, Zimbabwe is right over here, and Lebanon is right over here. So that kind of gives you a graphic or geographic location of where these places are on the map and what's going on. And do I think that they're the only ones? No. We've been talking about Turkey is struggling as well. We've been talking about Brazil. We've been talking about Argentina having some troubles. U.S. is having troubles, just different kind of trouble, the opposite direction of the trouble. Europe is having also the opposite direction of the trouble, kind of like a U.S. So there is really, in my humble opinion, I don't think that there is a single country in the world that is not having some sort of financial trouble. It's just that some are dealing with heavy deflation and trying to fight that, and the other ones are having heavy inflation and are trying to fight all of those components and all of those things. Now, one of the things that is interesting that has been, you've likely heard, is that China actually had rolled out their CBDC. Now, they didn't give it out to everybody in the country, but they have rolled it out, and they also proposed a new law. And of course, they're basically saying that the People's Bank of China is soliciting public comments for their draft of laws of People's Republic of China on PBOC until November 23rd. And the proposed law recognizes the renminbi in both physical and digital form, and digital yuan to be the one and only official yuan pegged token. Basically saying the only tokenized yuan, digital yuan, stable coin is going to be ours, the ones that we issued, the CBDC. Why would they do that? Well, of course, they want to eliminate the competition, because if anybody can kind of create these stable coins, which we've seen people have been doing, right? They want to eliminate the competition here. The revision would take a toll on one of the biggest crypto-related businesses in China, and Tether, which is the largest stable coins by market cap at least, has a yuan stable coin. So that's something that is very, very important for us to understand, because it does have a potential. And Tether has been on a radar for many folks because of some of the controversies about, do they really have this money that they claim that they do, don't they have it, and what's going on. So I think this is not boding really well for Tether. Again, not a financial advice or anything, I'm just kind of sharing this stuff. So is it possible that Tether not only is now facing challenges from US, but is now facing challenges from China, two largest forces in the world, and not just the world of money, but like in the world, right? Now, here is another piece that users are not really, what are they saying about the CBDC? So they went out there, and as you know, the city of Shenzhen, People Bank of China launched the Red Envelope Lottery earlier this month, giving away 20 million of the digital yuan, which is worth around $1.5 million to locals. 2 million people were said to have applied, and I think they selected about 50,000 people, 47,000 something have participated. Early users of the trial digital currency feel the central bank has way more things to do if they think people will want to adopt it and switch from other payments. The option is less convenient, and they're basically saying that the option is less convenient and that she wouldn't use the CBDC again unless it was provided through another giveaway. So it's like, I wouldn't use it, but hey, if you're going to give me more money, I might jump in. I'm not going to lie. I'm not shy. Who knows? I could do it. The digital yuan infrastructure was similar to those of Alipay and WeChat, and they're like, these have been in for a long time, so if you want people to switch, you're going to have to do a little bit better than what you have done. They're also saying that it's offer convenience and the other benefits to promote the use. Over 3,000 stores were equipped with payment technology, and the users would basically go in, they scan a QR code on the user's wallet, and that's basically what would deduct the amount of money that they have used. So there you go. This is what's happening in a beautiful world of crypto. And of course, if you want more information and to learn more stuff and to continue chatting about what's going on, well, join me tomorrow. And you can only do that by coming to onedealaway.com/live, and we can chat and do Q&A and that kind of stuff, but only if you show up. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. Make sure you hit some sort of notification button depending on what you're watching or listening this on, and make sure you join me tomorrow. Until then, stay forever money blessed, and do remember, you are only one deal away.